Hey there. Today's video, the first video you're going to see, is about your flute and the part that you blow into, the head joint. So I'm going to show you my flute case right now. There we go. And inside my case I have the head joint. The body is the longest one. And then I have what's called the foot joint. And the foot is the shortest one. The body is the longest one, and the head joint is the mediumest one. It's not really a word. You'll notice that my flute has an extra key down here if you compare your flute to mine. I just have a different kind of flute, no biggie. So we're going to do this right here, the head joint. Okay, so you're going to take that out. You're going to leave the other two parts in the case safely. So I'm going to put that down, get my head joint. All right. So here's the deal. First of all, you have to know which way to point, because if you do it backwards, it might still make a sound, but then when you put your flute together, you're going to be all backwards. So the long part points to your right. Now you're looking at me and we're kind of mirroring each other. So think about if I were to turn around this way, it goes over my right shoulder. See that? Okay, so I'm going to blow across it to the right. Double check that it's your right. I know, I said that a lot, it's on the right. Okay, in the head joint there's a hole. And this hole is going to point straight up to the ceiling. Okay, so I've got the ceiling, got the hole, and I've got to find the right spot. So right here, right where my lip meets my skin, I'm going to place the flute head joint, the back of this hole, against my lip. Notice I'm just bringing it to me. I'm not trying to okay. So I put it right there, I don't want to cover my lip. I want to kind of tuck it under my lip, right there. And you notice it's mostly straight across. It's not like this, it's not like this, it's like this. All right. Now I'm going to do this away from my head joint so you can see what I'm doing, but you're going to do it with your head joint here in a moment. You're going to say the word poo. So poo, but you're going to whisper it. Okay, so try that for a moment. Notice how small that is. Okay, it's a pretty subtle thing. There's not a lot going on there, but if you get it too big or too small, then it won't make any sound. So I'm going to do that into the head joint. So you want to try to match that sound. Now I've been doing this for a few years, so mine's going to come out very clear. I've been, practicing. But we're going to talk about ways to make it work if it's not, making a sound. So let's talk about if it's not making a sound, you're going to do some adjustments. The first adjustment is this way. So listen. Oh, there went the sound. Now the hole's too far out. So I've got to make sure that the hole stays straight and I'm blowing across it. Another thing that gets people confused, sometimes we move it too far one way or the other, this way. I'm exaggerating, but really, you've got to make sure it's dead center where you're blowing. And everybody's slightly different. I might have, a tiny little, I think I play on this side a little bit more, but that's because that's how my face is formed. And your face is probably formed differently than mine. Unless we're twins. Are we twins? No. So, you might also play around a little bit with this. You actually want this pushed away from your shoulder just a little bit. That didn't work. Okay, so I'm going to have you play sounds back to this video. Now obviously I can't hear you, but this is a great time to practice. So you want to try to make the same length of sound that I do. And you'll notice it takes some air. The flute takes air. So here we go. Just copy me back and forth to the video. No judging. I'm not judging because I can't hear you anyway. Okay, so here we go. Copy me. Okay, go ahead and play it. All right, did they sound the same? Was it fuzzy? Was it airy? So kind of think about your sound. No judging, just, think about what it sounds like. Okay, do it again. Your turn. Okay, we're going to do one more time. This time, see how long you can hold it. I'm only going to hold it for a little while because it'll get kind of boring. Yeah, that's getting boring. So try to make a long, beautiful sound. That's your goal with just this part. Now, this isn't the fun part. We've got to get the rest of it together. But if you can't make a sound here, it won't make a sound on the big thing. The rest of the instrument doesn't magically make you play. This is the sound right here. Okay. Now, here's the deal. When you actually play the flute, you don't start out with a p, a p. You start out with a T sound. But it's a special kind of T sound. And I started thinking about this week when I was starting to think about this video. And you're going to make a, this is going to sound funny, you're going to make a poo face, but with a two sound. Okay, so think about that for a moment. Just to yourself, just go. Now if you go, do you notice my lips got a lot bigger when I started to do the T sound? We don't want that. So we want the poo face, but we want the two sound. So listen very carefully. I hope this comes across on the video. I'm going to do both of them. I'll do two poos and two twos. Okay, so that might not have come across very well. I'm sorry if it doesn't, but notice my face is staying in poo, but I'm doing the t, like I'm saying teeth or tree. I'm putting that T into the poo face. So, yeah. So try that for a second, because again, this is, a major part of playing this instrument, especially for flute players. It has to be very, very clear. So if your partner or your family or, your friend can't hear you go, then it won't be clear enough. You've got to make it very obvious. So we're going to practice that. So poo face, two sound. Now you can see when I'm blowing, it's actually blowing a part of my lip out. I'm not doing that. That's just automatically blowing out, because when I blow my air out, my lips are very soft and relaxed, and that's what they're supposed to be doing. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to mess around with this. Just poo face, two sound. So. Okay, I want you to practice that a ton, a lot. I can't even explain how much you should practice that. So I'm going to do some rhythms, very, very simple rhythms on the head joint. We're going to get to the other parts here really quickly in the next videos. So I'm going to make a two sound. I'm going to do some rhythms, and you're going to do them back to to me, except that again I can't hear you. So I'm sure it'll be beautiful. Here we go. First rhythm, I'll do it in 4 beats. Try that. Okay? Now if it sounds fuzzy, you're probably going to have to use a lot more air. And, most flute players and any new instrument person isn't used to like expelling all this air. Feels like you're blowing up a balloon almost. I mean, it's that's a lot of air. So don't be shy if you are afraid somebody's going to hear you, well, somebody will hear you at some point. So don't be afraid to put some air into the instrument right now. Our instrument is just this, but put some sound into it. Here we go again. Here's another rhythm. Try that. Okay. I think that that's going to be the end of this, although I do have one little extra thing. If you're really getting good at this, you can do a couple things with just the head joint. Nobody else can do this, so I'm going to show them to you. And this is only extra. I'm not going to like ask for you to do this as a test or anything, but some people like to just do other things for fun. So I can change the pitch just by closing the end. But if I'm really careful, I'm not sure I can do this. I didn't even practice it. Ooh, I finished strong. So I'm just changing the length of our instrument tube. That's what's changing the pitch. So you can actually play a little song there if you want. So good luck to you. This is the first video. Watch it as many times as you want. If you have access at home and want to watch it at home, show your parents. Watch it as many times as you need to, because sometimes some people need to hear things more than once or twice or 3 times or 10 times. I don't know. You do what works for you. Okay, lots of practice on this, and we're going to go to the next video very, very soon. All right, see you then.